The science is incredibly clear. We need to reduce our emissions hugely in this decade and the next decades to get down to a residual level of emissions in order to reach net zero and stabilize the climate. But the big missing piece is getting in place the stable, ambitious, durable policy and the enduring politics that are going to allow us to make this change, especially if we want to make sure it's a fair one. Fair for people using the climate, fair for communities and workers and consumers who are dependent on energy for their livelihoods.
When we look historically at how emissions have been generated, there's been a real mismatch in certain parts of the world and certain groups where they have been able to achieve a quality of life based on these large emissions and their growth that has been disproportionate to other parts of the world. And as we make a reduction now towards global net zero, it's really important that we think about the reduction of emissions in a manner that allows for the well-being and the development and the quality of life of all people involved.
We don't actually know what the residual level of emissions exactly should be, but it's probably something like 10 to 20% of what they are today. But the big job for us now, in this decade, is not to worry too much about what happens to that 10 or 20%, but rather to cut the 80.
Now, these emissions are mainly coming from 4 different sectors. These are the built environment, transportation, food, and industry. And so there are a number of ways across these 4 different sectors where we can think about emission reductions in a manner that is actually fair, that does not leave marginalized communities behind, and actually enables the provision of other objectives and goods that they may not have had in the first place.